Good morning. Today is the 3rd of December 2024 and I'm going to go through today's levels and plan. Don't forget it's getting close to the end of a year, so we're looking to reflect on what the current year has been. This is a good month to go through all the previous year's trades and successes and mainly failures, and it's a good opportunity to work on a plan for next year. Anyway, let's crack on. I don't think there's much news today that could move the market. Okay, we've got jobs opening at 10 AM, so keep an eye on what you're doing at 10 AM. We've got a few Fed speakers, 12:35 and just before market closes. So basically 10 AM we've got a high volatility news event, so if you're in a trade around that time, just be wary. So looking at the chart from yesterday, we're looking at the ES and we're on the 1 hour time frame. We had a high from, was that Friday? New all-time high. We pulled back into this region, which we've been watching, and then we broke out again, putting a new all-time high, and we've just consolidated, just gone sideways since. Volume wise, just look at the daily to see where we are with the volume. We can see as price is increasing, volumes decreasing, so there's a little bit of a divergence. No real anomalies really. We are still extended away from the 50 moving average. Didn't quite get back there in November. We're still extended away from the 20 moving average, and we're just quite a bit of a way from the 8 moving average as well. So that's where we are now. And if you go back and look, every time we pull away, we always come back to home base. Pulling away, we kind of run along the 8. Not often do we move away from the 8, come back, move away from the 8, come back, and always end up back at the 20. So with technically there's a slight anomaly, because we had, even though we had decrease in volume on increase in price, yesterday we had slightly more volume on this narrow range, almost an indecision candle, than we did on the slightly wider range candle the day before. But then that's Friday, and I'm kind of ignoring that because that's half a day as well, so probably nothing really to factor into account. We're still running in this uptrend, holding these trend lines, and we've been holding this trend line. You can see this little fan, and we're holding these two, not the best straight lines. Right in between where we want to be. If we're up here and we're really overbought, then potentially we could be looking for rejection. If we're down here and we're oversold, which we're not, we're nowhere near, we're down or near on the RSI, we could be looking for a bounce. Obviously that's a level we'll be watching as well. So nothing too exciting on the daily. So let's go back to the hourly and just pick up some levels. So pretty much similar levels we had yesterday. The only one I like, and that's to continue with the trend. We've got two trend lines, and that's a break and retest of pre-market high long. You got yesterday's high, which is a new all-time high, around 60, 68. So if we can clear both of them, come back and retest a pre-market high, and retest this area here, maybe a little bit below pre-market high, we can watch for a bounce. Take a look also where the point of control is right now. So all that volume coming up through here, which could act as natural support. So we could find support around there as well. So it's a biggish area we're watching for a bounce. Or we can watch that area there for sure, and then the break and retest along there. So that's basically my main play for today. Good morning, Charles. Hopefully you had a good day trading yesterday. Good morning to everybody else. Pre-market low, we can keep an eye on that. Break and retest off the pre-market low. Oh, that's not a very good drawing. So we'll keep an eye on break and retest pre-market low. You can see we're not on this really steep. We had quite a steep uptrend there. Now the trend's starting to come along that way. And if we draw the line, just draw our trend line in, roughly around there. You could say there if you want to take in. Let's do that one. That's the more conservative one. Best place for a bounce. We could watch the tops of these pivots again. What was the ceiling became the floor. So if we come back down into this region, we can watch that area for a bounce, and that's at 60-40. I've got 60-37, so I'll keep that level, but we can watch that entire area. And don't forget, these are not levels, they're zones to watch for bounces. So it's a matter of going with your plan and going with whatever confirmations you're looking for. Me, depend on the volume. I have a couple of confirmations I look for. I use order flow. I also use levels. I look for point of control and high volume, and then I look for either a reversal or something like a head and shoulders pattern. I do quite like them. So that's a bit like this one here, head and shoulders, and then the break and retest of that neckline for the short. That's kind of the patterns I look for. Sometimes, if we're coming into a big hourly, daily level, I may just take it on the same colour of the direction I want to go. So if we're coming down into a big hourly level, I won't try not to go long on the red. I do sometimes, but when that candle goes green, and then I'll look for an entry. So that's how I look for my confirmations. And I don't think there's many more levels. We've got this area as well, the point of control. I think we just spoke about that. 60-20. Watch that area for a bounce. So to recap, my prime watch today is a break and retest of pre-market high. Let's just put that in zones. So this region here around 60 area, I think that's right, 60-70, hang on, that area there, 60-66, break and retest long. I'll consider a bounce around this area here, and that's 60-37, 60-40. And I consider a bounce around where this point of control is, this region here at 60-20. And of course we've got 6,000 psychological number. Kind of an area to watch as well. It's 59.90 to 6,000. Rejections. Even what I like is to break and retest a pre-market low at 60.55 down into these potential targets. Maybe keep an eye on yesterday's low, because that could act as a bounce area, 60.50. And there's only one rejection I would consider, and if this pattern sets up, so we've got the left shoulder, we've got the head, and then if we put in a right shoulder, I'll watch for two potential shorts. I'll watch for rejection here to continue the right shoulder move down, and then I'll look for the break of the neckline. So this will be the neckline here, and I'll look for the retest of that area back up into that area for the short. So that's the only shorts I'll be watching for. And even now, pre-market break and retest pre-market low is a higher risk trade if we were going to go break and retest, because we're going against the current trend. So it's always higher risk against the trend. Break and retest a pre-market high, higher probability, or the low is a less probability. In fact, my trade yesterday I took, I wonder if I can open it. 1 second. Just open up my trade Zeller. Just logging in. This month, okay. So I took one trade yesterday, and that is a break and retest. In fact, two trades. I think they're kind of the same trade. It was a break and retest, mainly that one there. That's just another little one. I had a bit of FOMO and I got in, but I got straight back out again. So let's just have a quick look at that one. And it was a, I did some journaling, but I didn't actually do my full journal yesterday. And that's actually one of my goals for the month, to push harder on my journaling as well. So this is my entries here. So I took the break off that level, and let's go with a black colour so we can see it. So I took the break, so it broke out over pre-market high, came back down. I waited until I saw this reversal candle. Let's just make it bigger. Here we go, that's a better. So I waited for a reversal candle, this candle here. I had quite a wide stop. In fact, I had a stop just a bit below that level there, and so it's quite a wide risk to reward. And to get to 3R, I needed to get to about 670, I think it was up here. And as you can see, I got up to about 1R, 1.5R, and then I just took profit purely because it put in a new high there. And then if it's going to continue, come back and retest and go long, I would have stayed in. But as it broke back down below that pivot there, and we had a big red candle, I thought, you know what, I'll just get out of it. So it was a profitable day. I did also take a small loss, but it's kind of part of this trade. I took half of my trade. I got stopped out when it broke below that pivot, only by 50. My other pivot was about here, I think. So that was my main stop. And when we broke over, when I saw the reversal, saw volume as well, I got back in again. So that was a small loss, but I got back in, and that's why I got back out here. So small winning day. How do I come out of it? Here we go. So, and that's it. And I basically took a break and retest a pre-market high on a 5 minute. I've not put in the rest. I'll probably do that on a lull moment when the market's open. So that's my one and only trade yesterday. And it's about identifying when the market is just doing this. Look how bad these candlesticks are. They're topping tails, bottom tails, indecision, all through the day, and it just wasn't a very good day to trade. So getting out when I did was a good thing, even though I could have maybe got close to 2.5R. But it's the mental turmoil of watching it going through all this pulling back, go left and sideways. Okay, so let's quickly look at SPY. So that's my trade yesterday. Where was it? It was here, wasn't it? Order flow. Let's just flick over and look at order flow for a second. Do you see anything unusual? We've got slightly increasing price with a push up, slightly increasing cumulative delta with a push up, and then we're pulling back. Although we have taken out the pre-market, well, not really the pre-market low, is that close? Or a recent low, and here we're still nowhere near taking out the same low. And I can't see anything really. We've got a couple of aligned point controls there. There's a third one here as well. So maybe that area 60, 65 might be potentially a area to watch for a rejection, or you can use that as a area of support resistance, depending which way we are. And that's a 30-minute filtered we're looking at there, but I can't see anything else. In fact, price pulled back a bit, whereas cumulative delta just went sideways, so a little bit of a divergence right now, but still it's pre-market hour, pre-market volume, so not anything to keep an eye on too much. Let's go back to my main screen. I'll quickly go through the others. SPY is pretty much the same. We've got this area of confidence right now, right in a bounce area right now. Pre-market happens to be the pre-market low as well. Break and retest over pre-market high 604. Break and retest long. The bounce I like in this region still. Round here for the bounce. So look at that, and that's a round number as well. 600 for the bounce. So probably that area there. And then you look like we're putting in a new pre-market low right now. I think we have done it also on ES and NASDAQ. So breaking retest pre-market low may not be quite on just yet. We'll keep an eye on that for later. SPX, we've got a new all-time high, so we can mark that off. That area there. levels are pretty much the same. So if we pull back down into these previous pivots, 60-20, we can watch that area for a bounce. And then again break and retest. Again, I'm not a big fan of just going short at the all-time high, but we can look for trend continuation to continue this trend up, then that'll be a better play. Nasdaq is looking a little bit weaker than ES. We blasted our way through that area of potential resistance we was watching yesterday. It actually went straight through it like knife through butter. So we can watch that area for a retest. I like it because we've got bottoms of pivots. We've got a pivot here as well, so there's a wide area to watch for retest. So, and we've got the 50 moving average coming in. So 2160 to 2100 for the bounce. Maybe we can watch for the pre-market low, break and retest into that region. We'll go back to ES in a minute, see where we are before the market opens. And then the only other place I like the bounce is along this trend line. If we can come back down into this region, 2800, 2850 for the bounce. We've got this area of confluence as well. We've got a bit of a volume shelf. We've got a little bit of confluence there, big area there. Tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, broke through, came back, we held it, and we've yet to retest it. So let's keep an eye on that area for a bounce, and it happens to be off our daily trend line. And that's pretty much it really. QQQ. Didn't put a new all-time in, no, couldn't put a new all-time high in. So let's watch this area confluence for a potential bounce. Yesterday's low. If not, we can watch it for a break and retest short into this region or into this daily trend line. Notice also this big volume spike, this volume shelf happens to be around the areas of interest, areas confluence, and then it's also on the trend line as well. So 505 for the bounce. And then rejection, even though I said I don't like short and all-time highs there, but if we come back up, put in a double top and put down, we can watch that area yesterday's high for rejection. But that's only if we can't break through and retest long, and that's probably similar for ES as well. If we can't break out over that area, we can watch it come back up into that region and then watch it hold and then come back down. But again, watching for the head and shoulders pattern might be one we can keep an eye on. Left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder to be formed, or it's just going to do what it's been doing, just continue on this uptrend. And all we saw yesterday and today was a bit of rest in time, like a marathon run. It needs a rest before it attempts the next marathon up. Oil is looking slightly more interesting than it was yesterday. Didn't do much yesterday. Look at that. We could say we didn't really get down to that bounce area. We never really broke out. But we have now broken this point of control, and we've broken over above the 200 moving average, so maybe watch for a bounce down at yesterday's high, and that's at 68.76. Otherwise, we've got a next rejection zone will be slight volume spike here, and we've got bottoms of candles, confluence, tops of candles, a bit of area confluence, tops of candles there. And we've yet to retest 70, so watch 70 for rejection. Gold, putting in this flag pattern, we pushed up, come back down. Nothing really exciting. All I can see is this double top rejection at 26.84. Otherwise, if we break through that, we can watch for break and retest long. But we are below the 200 moving average at the moment, although it is starting to curve around. So let's keep an eye on that. Otherwise, we've got a bounce area. I like this area here. big area of confluence, lots of bottoms of pivots. We bounced there nicely a few days ago, so let's watch for a bounce back down at 26.43. RTY, again doing nothing, it's just sitting in this zone. We need a breakout, we need to find a breakout here, this zone here. So if we lose Friday, yesterday's low, break and retest short, we'll also be losing this 20 moving average because that'll be moving up into that area. Watch for the break and retest of pre-market high into this little bit of overhead resistance. That could be a first profit target. And then if we can get over the last few days of consolidation, look for a new all-time high. I think it's all-time high. Yeah, but the best play is to try and wait for it to come out of this, of whatever it's trying to do just here. So we've got that pattern setting up. It's an uptrend, so break and retest a pre-market high. Yesterday high, pre-market high. It's the more probable one. Otherwise, we can watch for the breakdown and then find a short. YM. It's looking a little bit more interesting as well. Starting to curve around. So let's see if we can find. So we've got a bit of a trend line there. We've got that trend line there. So it's broken both those trend lines. Big push down yesterday, came back up, retested. I like these plays, the retest of that pivot. So now we can watch for a break and retest of pre-market low, yesterday's low, short, and we've got our first target, which is at 44,500, and the bottom of that pivot, and we've got a little bit of volume before we get into this void. If we lose that area, we've got no volume until we get back down into this region here. So I'm going to put an alert on the break below pre-market low. So I'll try and find a short there if I can. I do quite like this. Obviously, if we push up above yesterday's high, we've got the break and retest of this level into a new all-time high. And then Bitcoin, finally, we've got 7 minutes to go. Let's go to the daily. So we've got this trend line. In fact, we've got this pattern. And draw that right in there. So we're testing the top end of the trend, bottom, top, bottom. If we bounce now, then it's definitely following this little flag wedge pattern. And what we can watch for is for a breakout in either direction. Obviously, we're in an uptrend, so we've got to favour the trend direction, and we can probably watch for a break and retest of the previous pivot high, long. And obviously, if we lose the trend line, we'll be losing that 20 moving average as well. Look for the break and retest short. And that's it really on Bitcoin. Me personally, if we can get over, we came close to 100. If we can get over 100, I'm probably looking to take some off. I should have probably done it. I've had a few opportunities too, but I've only got a quarter or a third of my position left, so not a massive amount. But I really want to top back up again when we get back down into this region. And that's it. Let's quickly look at ES, see if it's moved and done anything different since we've been away. So we're coming back into this retest area. So we pre-market low. Okay, so now we've broken down below that. Let's keep an eye on this level, 60 area, for a potential break and retest into that area. We can probably draw a trend line in as well and watch for a higher risk rejection along here. Let's go into the 5. Draw a trend line. I know we had a push out there, but I'm looking for the most touches of the trend line. I think that generally is a better way of doing it. If we can move back up into this region, maybe onto this trend line, we can look for a potential rejection to continue this out, this 5-minute trend line. But we really want to see it set up on the hourly. Basically on the hourly, we're looking for this break of trend, and then come back up the retest. And if we do break and retest this trend line, and then look at what pattern we've got there. We've got the left shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break and retest of the trend line, and we can potentially look for the break and retest of the neckline as well. So that's why I'll keep an eye on this one. In fact, hopefully we do push down and come back and put in this nice reversal pattern. Okay, that's it from me. I'll be live on the order flow live stream, and let's just flick over to order flow because it's something a little bit interesting to look at. So look at the price, putting in lower lows. Okay, so here it looks like it might try to change the trend. Just breaking out that pivot. Look at cumulative delta. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Not quite sure where we are right now. If we break out over there, then it will conform to what the price is doing. But cumulative delta is looking weaker than the price right now, which means potentially we've got more sellers and buyers, and obviously the buyers weren't able to absorb all of that and we lost it. But we'll see where we end up. Look at volume as well, and anything start seeing lack of volume down this area, then that's a sign of exhaustion as well. But we've got a lot of selling imbalances like 3 in that candle. We've got lots there as well. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. 1 there, 7 in a row if you were to put those 2 candles together. So it's looking, based on this, negative delta, a green bar with a negative delta. So look at that, green bar, negative delta, all very negative. Even another green bar, negative delta. So right now it's looking more bearish than bullish. But you know, it's pre-market, so let's see what the market brings. Okay, thank you for watching. If this is value to you, don't forget to hit the like button and obviously subscribe. And I'm going to do some more better order flow videos shortly as well, and put in some of my strategies, what I watched for, and I'll do these over the next week or so. Okay, thanks for watching, trade safe, and I'll be back tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern time.